This week, I'll show you what bracketing is and how you can use it to better your images. Bracketing is basically taking 3, 5, or even 9 images of the same scene with different exposures. This gives you the option of blending them together later on in your computer, giving you a lot more information than if you'd have just taken one image. There are basically 2 things to think about when you're bracketing. 1, how many images you want to take, and 2, how far apart you want the exposures. If there's really bright parts and really dark parts, then you need to take more images. If it's quite close together, you need to take less images. I normally keep the gaps to 1 stop of light, and I'll take either 3 or 5 images depending on the dynamic range. Get your camera on a sturdy tripod. Find the bracketing setting on your camera. Set it to 3 exposures at 1 stop increments. If the shutter speed is slow, make sure you have the self timer switched on so that you don't induce any movement into the camera. Make sure the shot is in focus. Set the exposure for the middle image. I normally put it near 0 on the exposure meter. Press the shutter and wait for it to fire all of the images. Once you've taken them and you're back at home, import them into your software of choice. There are a few different ways you can blend them together. There's HDR in Lightroom, there's HDR Pro in Photoshop, or luminosity masks in Photoshop. This is an example of a property I was shooting last week. As you can see, there's dark bits and really bright bits, so the dynamic range is really big in this shot. What I've done is bracketed 5 different shots. So you can see this is the darker one, working through to the brightest one. As you can see with this bright one, the inside is exposed correctly, but the windows are blown out. And this is where bracketing really helps. So I'll select all of those, right click on those, then go Photo Merge, HDR. You have a few options here. You have Auto Align, Auto Settings, and then de-ghost amount. If there's any movement in the shot, you'll tend to get ghosting happening. And what this means is, say if there's someone walking through the shot, they'll look like ghosts, because there'll be, in this instance, there would be 5 different people, but they'll be see-through. So if there's a lot of movement in the shot, put the de-ghosting amount to high. If there's not much movement in the shot, click on none. I'll keep Auto Align on, and I'll switch off Auto Settings. Then I'll click on Merge. Once it's merged the image, edit as normal. You'll see if you move your exposure tab, this will go right down to -10, right up to +10, and it'll go pure black and pure white. That's when you know it's merged the images properly. As I bring the highlights down, it recovers what's in the windows. And as I pull the shadows up, it recovers what's in the room. You don't want to take these too far because it starts looking a little bit strange. So what I tend to do is take it past the point and then kind of bring it back. Then it's just a case of tweaking and tuning these sliders until you get the image that you want. Once you're happy with the edit, then you can export as normal. If you also have Photoshop, you can use HDR Pro. So select all of your images, right click on them, edit in, merge to HDR Pro in Photoshop. Once it's processed them, it'll bring you to this screen. You want to click on Remove Ghosts, and this green box will dictate which one it shows for the ghosting, or the lack of ghosting. You want to make sure the mode is in 32-bit, and make sure complete toning in Adobe Camera Raw is unchecked. I also drag this slider down to make sure I can see what the image is going to look like in the brightest parts. Then click OK. At this point, you can either edit the photo in Photoshop or bring it back into Lightroom. I save it and then open Lightroom. It'll automatically bring it back into Lightroom and save it as a new image. So you can see down here, it's got DSC67 edit.tiff. So you can see the exposure goes down to -10 or up to +10. And now you edit as normal. This image isn't great because there was quite a lot of haze on the day. And these buildings are backlit. But this is just more of an example to show you what the sun would look like in this image. When HDR images became popular, people started overusing the process, so they do have a bad name. But if you use it sparingly, it can really add to your images. So if we look through the shots, comparing a merged image compared to a single image, be able to see the difference. This is the merged image, and this is the single image. You can see we're losing a lot of detail in the shadows. We've got the detail in the sky in the background, but it looks very flat. With the merged image, got a good exposure on the inside and a good exposure on the outside. With the shot of these buildings, you can see the difference mainly around the sun. With the merged image, the sun is overexposed, but around that it's not. Whereas in the single image, there's a big blob where the sun is and all of the clouds around it are overexposed as well. Also, in the shadows, there's not as much detail as the merged shot. An advanced method is to use luminosity masks. I use a plugin called Raya Pro from Jimmy McIntyre. He's a great landscape photographer and he's developed this bit of software that works in conjunction with Photoshop. It creates all of your luminosity masks for you. If you're serious about landscape photography and want to develop your photos further, I'd suggest investing in this. I'm not sponsored and I don't know Jimmy, but Raya Pro is brilliant and he's got a set of tutorials that go along with this that are well worth the investment. And that's about it. Bracketing can be a powerful tool in your arsenal. All it takes is a little forethought when you're out shooting and a little bit more processing afterwards in Lightroom or whatever software you're using. But it can really make your images shine. If you have any questions about bracketing, leave a comment below or drop me an email. It'd be great if I can help you get through this process. As always, give me a thumbs up if you like what you see, a thumbs down if you didn't, and for weekly tutorials, hints and tips in photography, subscribe and turn on notifications. I'll see you in the next one.